Okay, so finally, I think I can actually make this video. I spent like the 20 past minutes trying to figure out the audio and video OBS settings and everything, so I think I can finally start making videos on YouTube. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about actually for this YouTube channel, which is going to be like probably like a theory crafting channel, but also maybe like tech focused. I have no idea, but we're going to figure it out as we go. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was a little bit about Alhara and the connection that she might have with Elune. Now, I have just started a Harandar hunter, and I'll talk a little bit about like her bow, right? This is the bow that they are granted as soon as they basically spawn, right? Like as soon as you create a character, this is the bow that you get. Now this symbol is very reminiscent of a lot of other pieces of equipment that we've seen in the past, and also a lot of mounts. So for example, you have this mount, which is the Gleaming Moon Beast. Now, if you take a look at the Moon Beast's lore stuff, flavor text, you see armor and glistening silver. These devoted mounts are said to be a blessing from Elune herself, right? So it seems like Elune is blessing mounts now. But yeah, either way, this feels to me like it's very Elune related, and you see like the crescent moons and you know the colors, as well as this sort of spirally thing going on, and you also see it here in that ribbon of the moon beast. So this is like very also prevalent in like night elf culture as a whole. But then you also see it with Emerald Dream, and I'll get a little bit more into the Emerald Dream in a couple of minutes. So for example, we have this, which is the Grove Warden mount. And if I look at the Grove Warden mount, which you get from the quest Dark Waters in Moonglade, you see that they are the wardens of peaceful permalivers within the Emerald Dream. This guy actually has the exact same symbol on his forehead, I think. Or that piece of armor, at least. Let me toggle the UI off a little bit so you can see it a bit clearer. So yeah, you can actually fully see this over here, which is the crescent moon and the dot in the middle. So that's right, this over here. It's basically just inverted because it's on my back, right? You also see it on warglaives, but we'll get to that in a bit, or maybe in a different video if I don't have enough time. One interesting aspect of this is that these stag's horns, you can see that it has that, which is pretty much like the exact logo or symbol of Ardenweald, which we'll also get to in a bit. And you can also see the contrast here. If you look at the floor, actually, look at this symbol right here, right? Hopefully you can see my cursor. But yeah, you can actually see the exact symbol here. And by the way, guess where we are? We are actually in Ardenweald. I did this on purpose. Haha. But then also the inverse of the stag's horn. Inverse? I don't know if that's the correct word to say it. Is it reverse? Whatever. You can actually see that it's a little bit more aggressive, dare I say. It has like this dot in the middle, which this doesn't. And it also has like these like almost horde-like horns protruding out, kind of like the horde symbol almost. I don't think this is related to the horde symbol, although I could be wrong. I think that it has been confirmed that the horde symbol was, you know, created because they thought it looked cool, which is fair enough, you know. But you do see like a lot of similarities with how things are being done between the Emerald Dream, Ardenweald, and Alhara and the Harandar, which I'll get to in a bit. You see a lot of these patterns on the floor, and you also see it a lot with Ardenweald itself. Like, look at this, right? Again, crescent moon, dot in the middle. I know this is just like supposed to be like a lamppost, but you can see this pattern pretty much everywhere. If we go to the Emerald Dream as well, you'll be able to see it there too. And finally, we're going to look at Ashadar, Harbinger of Dawn. Harbinger of Dawn? Sorry, my pronunciation just goes away sometimes. So yeah, you can actually see the pattern here as well. You can see that, and you can see, well, some circular bits here and there. Oh, there it is. You can actually see crescent moon logo here as well on his feet. I don't know if you can clearly see it, but this is a silver moon, and there's the light aspect of it in the middle, which could be seen as the dot, but you know, this is neither here nor there. So yeah, it's also here in its back, but you can probably see it a bit more clearly. You know, again, this logo over here. So a lot of Elune related mounts. Let me also look at this. Caldera Legends, Whisper of a Relentless Hunter, prowling amongst the deepest shadows of Kalimdor, never sleeping by the light of the sun or the moon. Ashadar now hunts with you. Once it's nighttime, this mount basically changes to like its moon variant. But the idea is the following, right? That this is actually related to Elune somehow, right? And the groves and the Emerald Dream and the Dream Grove over here in Ardenweald and everything is potentially related to all of the above, right? I mean, we already know that the Rift of All is a place that is supposed to be actually in the Emerald Nightmare and Dream, which are pretty much interchangeable, I think, at this point. You can also see some like nice sigils over here as well. And finally, another thing that I wanted to point out, now that we have seen Harandar and the Harnir civilization and the cradle, look at this place, right? I know that this is supposed to be something entirely different, right? But when you look at it from the air, which is not something that we were really able to do much in Shadowlands, because it was introduced later on, look at how this looks like. This is kind of reminiscent of the cradle in a lot of ways, right? And the funny part is that if I try to fly upwards, I'm actually not able to. There's actually an invisible wall that stops my mount from flying that high. And this is also blue, right? And you also see here the sigil that we saw a little bit earlier. This is Ardenweald's, and this is what you see on the stag's horns, right? This is very, very similar to that. I might actually be replaying Ardenweald a little bit and the Night Fae, like Covenant in a sense, because I think that with the new lore coming out, it might actually give us some more tidbits on the lore and the speculation and stuff. So I might actually spend some time playing around with this. And I think that maybe in the next video, because I don't want this to go like for too long, since it's obviously my first video, hope you can tell. Alright, so I'm continuing this video over here on my other character in Harandar. And, well, first of all, this is Azerite, right? I think that for those of you who have not made the connection between Allendust and Azerite, well, it's right here, right? So for those of you who played Battle for Azeroth and stuff, this should be very familiar to you. And yes, this is supposed to be the cradle where the goddess was, but the Harandar never actually saw her, so they just followed the echoes and everything. And this is golden, right? And one thing that I wanted to kind of showcase here is that whenever you talk about Allendust in the Rift of All, and whenever you look at the World Soul of Azeroth, the World Soul of Azeroth looks golden and blue at the same time. And you have Ardenweald that looks blue, and the Cradle that looks golden. And the question here is, what if they're the same thing? Like, what if... and you have to remember that Torghast, for example, was right on top of Icecrown Citadel, and it was just hidden to us, right? What if there's like a similar thing going on here? And I mean, they're both Shadowlands zones, right? So it could actually make sense when you think about it that way. But unlike the skybox of Ardenweald, where it just didn't allow you to do anything, and there was like an invisible wall, over here you actually, well, you sleep, right? So if you get close to the cradle, and the same happens if you actually like go upwards towards it and stuff, like, yeah, that's exactly where you land. And finally, just so that we can actually kind of maybe end this video, we're gonna take a look at what happens and how you can actually find the place called Nihil in World of Warcraft, which is kind of a hidden zone. I don't know if I'd consider it hidden, but it's definitely one of the few times where if you steer off the map, so to speak, you actually get like a new zone to pop up. Now this is actually the raid encounter. I've actually done this looking for raid, and yeah, this is where you start, and then you go over here. So this is actually the raid boss area, and then This is what it looks like. This is what the skybox looks like. The music's changed. The branches kind of look, I don't want to say split, but they definitely look as if they are, you know, a bit weird, right? Again, like, are these the roots? Are they the branches? I don't know. I cannot really tell anymore. My mind's all confused. Yeah. Then finally, if you go this way, which again, these branches remind you a lot of the Emerald Nightmare, right? It all goes from green to sort of yellow, which is technically, I mean, from a technical standpoint, this is actually just a skybox of Harandar, to be fair, but I just really liked how this just changes immediately, right? But then I need to do this properly because I feel like you need to actually prepare yourself forward enough to actually get the change in the zone, because sometimes it doesn't always happen. So if you go far enough, this is it. It's called Nihil, and basically your character, if you go far enough, it all goes like fully bright. Look at that. I should have died by now. Actually, do not know why I'm not dying. I should have died by now. Oh, there we go. Wow, okay, that took a while. I think this is the longest it's been. And then again, the skybox is obviously a little weird. What's weird about it as well is that when I look up, you can see the branches and then it goes white. I never noticed that before. That is quite interesting. But yeah, let's release the spirit. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty much all I had to show you. Thankfully, we can respawn quite close to here. It's a weird looking thing. Okay. But yes, let me know your thoughts. I have no idea what to think to this zone. It's actually pretty crazy. And like I said, there's a lot of similarities between it and the Emerald Dream and Ardenweald. I might make some more videos, I'll see how it goes, but yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about it because it's been on my head. Harandar has been like a huge thing for me because I've been waiting for some lore revelations as to, you know, the goddess, Elune, Anshe, Azeroth, whatever, all of it, right? I feel like we've been starved for information for so long that now it just like all hits together. But yes, that's basically all I have to say. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one, if I make one. Hopefully I will. See ya.